So many partners put so much energy into making a relationship work with the wrong person than you can imagine. I mean, honestly, out of a weekly number of clients, usually I will see at least 7 couples who have a partner who I consider toxic. And I think the reason people get in these relationships and they keep going is because toxicity is one of those insidious things. It starts small. And most of us grew up with a parent or a mentor saying, marriage isn't easy. No, it's not. That's true. And things like, well, we all have some baggage. I mean, it's basically deciding how much is your baggage. The problem with that reassurance or that advice when you're in a relationship with a toxic person is, yes, most of us get it. We have some baggage. But when you're in love with someone who is toxic, they make you feel like you have more baggage than they have. And so pretty soon, you minimize the amount of baggage they have. You maximize the amount of baggage you have. And so you become fearful. If I let this person go, I mean, we've been together a long time. My family loves him. Of course, they've probably only seen one side. Or, we go places, we travel. I'll never find another person like this. And they stay in the relationship. I'm going to give you some classical toxic behaviors that I want you to really take heart of. And I'm not saying that all of us don't have one or two of these, a small amount. But when you live with someone who is excessive in these areas, you know it. And as you're listening to this video, you know it. And that truth I am going to trust because I'm telling you, I see it in my office. And I wish they would have asked me before they got married or before they took some sort of a commitment they now feel they can't get out of, maybe before they had kids, so that we could have guided them out together, and it would have been so much easier for them to go on to restore their own broken parts and to go on and maybe find happiness with someone else. The first, if you're with someone who's one-sided, now we all get selfish sometimes, right? Yes, we do. But we aren't always one way, one side, my way or the highway. This kind of attitude is toxic. And when you run into it and it's what you face all the time, you know it. Take note of that and put that down as one of the indicators you should not be with this person. Secondly, people who are passive aggressive. Okay, I know a lot of people that are passive aggressive. My husband errs on this side. If he's going to do something, less likely he'll say it confrontational. More likely he will act it out unknowingly. But true passive aggressive is all the time with all things. They are terrified to confront any truth. And so what they do is they're always underneath. It's like somebody, you're on top of the ground and the other person is crawling under the bottom. They're with you. If you were to dig a hole and look straight down, you'd see them. But what kind of a partner is that? If you can't come up to the surface, if you can't look in my eyes and we face something together, how are you going to make a relationship work? This is an indicator for a toxic relationship. Next, people who lack forgiveness and trust. If your partner can't forgive and they're always suspicious, no matter what, they're suspicious, these two qualities will undermine a healthy relationship. Because in all healthy, happy relationships that are long-term, you need a forgiving partner, someone who will forgive you and let bygones be bygones and willing to work on restoring the relationship, and someone who trusts you. If you say you're going to the store, they're not looking through your phone or checking to make sure who you talked to last on social media or after you in some other way to check on you to make sure you only went to the store. People who are punitive. If you meet someone who is punitive, who loves punishment, who wants to punish you, you do something and then they'll do the same thing. These are the people who say, well, my partner had an affair, so I'm going to too, because that's the only way I can stay in this relationship, that's someone who is toxic. And if you had an affair, and if your partner says this to you, just don't even try to work on this relationship. End it now. Because if you've got a punitive partner, then I can guarantee you that if you cheated, it's not going to be forgivable. They're not going to be able to trust you again. And so you would have so many things working against you. It would be wiser for you at that point to end it. People who build relationships on lies. Maybe you and your partner got together during an affair and you ended up leaving your other partner and staying together. This whole relationship now is based on a lie. Do you know how many marriages I've seen that have a start like that? Many. And do you know why I'm seeing them? Because they have never been able to work through that. And the reason they can't is because honesty and trust are the foundation of a relationship. They're the cornerstones. If you don't have those two things, you don't really have a relationship. I don't know what you have, but when a relationship is based on lies, maybe one of the people kept a lie on social media all these years and you never found out until later, of course your trust is going to be shattered. Of course it's going to be hard for you to forgive. You see why I'm saying awareness and the ability to get it early is so important before you have all sorts of entanglements and obligations with this other person. And the last one is, I'm going to go through how to protect yourself from these people up front, okay? As I told you, they're insidious. What I'm going to ask you is what I've just listed now. You put those down as the indicators. And then when you meet someone, you talk with them and you see which way they're bent. You know, when I say which way they're bent, I'm like, which way are they more dominant? Like, you usually have to see them a couple times, maybe know some people that know them to understand, you know, like where their character's been weaker in the past. And at that point, being aware of it, because I'm not going to say people can't change, because they do. When they're really motivated, they do. But if you have someone that has consistently lied, or someone who has consistently been suspicious and jealous and unforgiving, you know those traits are going to work against every joyful moment you have in a relationship. And if you're telling yourself anything else, that's a denial on your part. It's better to let go of something that is faulty than try to build a house on it. And I'm telling you this now because I think you'll save yourself in the future a lot of counseling bills as well as a lot of missed joy and miserable moments.